Okay, and now we will come to the first chapter of the economic survey, that is state of the economy. And this first chapter of the economic survey, that is the state of the economy, it is basically a key highlights of all the remaining 12 chapters. Okay, and in the first chapter, they first focused on global. What is the global growth? They focused on the global level. This is the first fact, or this is the first point which is discussed in the first chapter of the economic survey, that is state of the economy. And next they focused on Indian economy. Okay, this is the second. Okay, we will first start with global economic context. What the economic survey is saying about the global growth and global uncertainties and global growth projections. This year's economic survey is saying that the global economy exhibited a steady growth. And economic survey is saying that the global economy exhibited a steady growth. How we can prove that the global economy, how the economic survey is proving that this global economy has exhibited a steady growth? If we see the report from IMF, that is International Monetary Fund, and they have released a report that blue color represents 2023 and red color represents 2024 and this yellow color represents the 2025. If you see this from the last 3 years, 2023, 24 and 25, if you see the global growth rate has slightly came down in 2024 and it is again same. That means the global growth is growing at a steady rate. Okay, again, it is at the world level. How they can frame a question at the prelims level? And these are the emerging markets and developing economies. India comes here, and this is the advanced economies. So they will give a sentence like this: the growth rate of advanced economies, the average growth rate of advanced economies is more than the world's growth rate average. That sentence will become wrong, because the average growth rate of the advanced economies is less than the average growth rate of the global growth. Please focus on this. Again, they will change the sentence as the growth rate of emerging market and developing economies, because they will not ask these numbers. They base, if you see the previous year question papers, they always, and UPSC is very much interested in asking the trends, not the numbers. Okay, please remember this. Please have a note down on this, or please have some concentration on this. These emerging market and developing economies, their growth rate is greater than the world's average growth. Okay, they will say, they will give a wrong sentence that the emerging market economies have the growth rate which is less than the global average. They can make us, they will give a wrong sentences here by using this map. Okay. Again, this economic survey proves by using the data from the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, that is OECD report. OECD releases Economic Outlook report. In that report, it is also saying that if you see the growth rate of at the world level, it is also same. It's like a International Monetary Fund. So that economic survey is saying that if you see the global growth projections from these two data, the global economy exhibited a steady growth. The first fact is correct. It's proven. The International Monetary Fund projects a global growth at 3.2% for 2024 and 3.3% 2025, as we see in the figure. A notable trend was the slowdown in global manufacturing. See, again, this economic survey is saying that if you see at the global level, if you see at the global level, agriculture is got improved, services is also got improved at the world level, but the manufacturing sector faces a slowdown. The economic survey is saying that a notable trend was the slowdown in the global manufacturing, especially in Europe and parts of Asia. As I said, the manufacturing hub of Europe, that is Germany, is facing a contraction from last 2 years in the manufacturing. sector due to supply chain disruptions. What are basically supply chain disruptions? Because of the global uncertainties like Russia-Ukraine conflict, because Europe depends 40% of their energy needs from Russia, and Europe's energy security is dependent on Russia. Because of the Russia-Ukraine conflict, USA has put a sanction on the those countries which trade with Russia. Again, it's a problem for the European people only. Okay, because of this trade disruptions, see, it is mentioned here. Because of these trade disruptions, okay, again there is a global slowdown in the manufacturing sector. Because for the manufacturing sector, the important thing is the inputs, that is raw materials. And if there is a at the world level, there is a conflict between the even the Israel and Iran also. It will lead to the blockage of the Suez Canal. Like these of supply disruptions will lead to the global slowdown. This year's economic survey is saying that there is a decrease in the global manufacturing sector. It's because of the global uncertainties. Okay, because of that, there is a slowdown in the global manufacturing sector. Okay, please, what I'm saying is, please thoroughly, understood the concepts, and please have a revision of these concepts which I have written, because the specifically I have mentioned all, even though it will be a lengthy document compared to other institutions, they have given an economic survey notes and policies, the entire PDFs. It's a lengthy one, but please try to thoroughly understand the concepts, because there are multiple questions are there. They are indirectly asking from this economic survey. If you thoroughly understand the each and every concept, so if they are saying why, if they are saying that there is a slowdown in the global manufacturing sector, why there is a slowdown? There is a global disruptions. The disruptions related to, again it comes to the global uncertainty. That again global uncertainty is again because of that only the economic survey in the preface only it is suggesting to the government of India that we should focus on our domestic growth, and how we can how we can improve our domestic growth by deregulation. Okay, and in contrast, they are saying there is a global slowdown in the global manufacturing. In contrast, there is a good performance from the service sector. In contrast, the services sector performed better, supporting growth in many economies. Why specifically Germany, you know, got affected? Because if you see UK, if you see Spain, and if you see France, these are service-oriented country, like India also, because more than 50% of Indian exports are are service oriented. Because of these are service oriented country, they are sustained. They have shown some steady growth. But why the Germany, that is the manufacturing hub of the Europe, is facing? Because this Germany's economy is majorly dependent on manufacturing sector. It's not a service based country. It's a majorly dependent on manufacturing sector. Because of this, it is facing a contraction. Okay. Okay. Let me talk about the inflation at the global level. What is the inflation at the global level? We will study from the pandemic period, that is the COVID-19 pandemic. This economic survey is saying that in 2020, there is an increase in the inflation because of the supply chain disruptions. There is a lockdown. Because of that lockdown, there is a stagflation. That means inflation is very high, but slow in the country's economic growth. That is a there's a during the pandemic there is a situation of stagflation. Because of stagflation, there is a there is a very high inflation in the in 2020. This economic survey is saying that from the pandemic period at the global level is slightly recovering. If you see the 2020 to 2025, this economic survey is saying that and the global inflation is decreasing. They are saying the global inflation is decreasing. I mean, it means the inflation is reducing day by day. Okay. from the pre-pandemic level. Okay. See what they are saying at the inflationary pressures. Inflation rates across economies have trended downward steadily, approaching central bank target levels. That means it is a good for the global economy. Okay, it's a good for the global economy because whatever the all the central banks of their particular countries, what they have targeted the inflation, and that inflation comes under their target. Again, this inflation pressures are reduced at the global level, because if you compare with the pandemic time, that is from the 2020, the inflation pressures are getting reduced. So what is the inflation target of RBI? What is the inflation target of RBI? The inflation target of RBI is 4 plus or minus 2. That means the minimum inflation rate should be 2, the maximum inflation rate should be 6. For a developing country like India, for in the the RBI is suggesting that the developing country like India, we should have a inflation between 2 to 6, and it is suitable for the India. Okay, we have an inflation targeting of 2 to 6, that is 4 plus or minus 2. Please remember this also. They can give one sentence here regarding inflation targeting. Okay, and they are saying that disinflation seems to have slowed due to the persistence of services inflation, while core goods inflation has fallen to negligible levels. What it means? What is deflation? What is deflation? What is deflation? No. What is disinflation? What is disinflation? Disinflation means, before that, we see what is inflation. What is inflation? What is inflation? A consistent increase in the price of a commodity is called inflation. What is inflation basically? A consistent increase in the price of a commodity is called inflation. Then what is disinflation? The disinflation says if the consistent increase in the prices of a product is called inflation, then disinflation is there is an increase in the prices of a product slowly. Disinflation means increasing in the prices of goods only. What is disinflation? Disinflation means increasing in the prices of goods only. There is an increase in the price of a good, okay, but it is increasing slowly, not with the normal pace of the inflation. Okay, the price of a product is increasing, but slowly increasing, not with the normal speed of the inflation. And the slow increasing the prices of a good is called as inflation, disinflation. Please focus on this. Most of the people, when I ask the question to many aspirants, they are giving a wrong, they are giving always wrong answers regarding the disinflation. Okay, please no, focus on this. What is disinflation? Can anyone tell me what is the difference between inflation, deflation, disinflation, reflation, and stagflation? There are concepts out there, right? What is inflation? Okay. What is inflation? What is deflation? Okay. What is disinflation? What is disinflation? What is reflation? And what is stagflation? These are the words which are mentioned in the economic survey repeatedly because of it, and these are the basics concepts. I said there are three direct questions from the economic survey, and I said there are multiple questions from the economic survey indirectly. That means while preparing, if the exam is 1 month, near around 1 month, no, those are the basic terms, means the basic concepts which are discussed in the economic survey. For example, they have discussed about inflation, deflation, disinflation, reflation, stagflation. You have to revise these concepts because they are repeatedly mentioned in the economic survey. Recently I said there are a lot of indirect questions are asked from the economic survey, and these are the because these are repeatedly mentioned in the economic survey. You should focus on these indirect concepts. What is basically inflation? As I recently said earlier, what is inflation? Inflation is a consistent increasing in the prices of a commodity. A consistent increasing in the prices of a commodity. Then, if I see through the graph, it will very useful for you, and it will help you to easily understand all these concepts. What is inflation? A consistent increasing in the price of a product is called inflation. Okay, the concept is clear regarding inflation, right? This is called inflation. Then what is deflation? The deflation is a consistent decrease in the prices of a product is called deflation. You understand deflation, right? Then disinflation. A slow increase in the prices of a product, a slow increase in the prices of a product is called disinflation. What is reflation? Because of this deflation, the inflation came to zero. Okay, because of this deflation, inflation came to zero, right? And from the zero, again inflation will start to increase. This process is called as reflation. Reflation starts from zero, or even the deflation can go at the negative level. Okay, please remember this. The inflation deflation can go at the negative level. Okay, and after the deflation, again the inflation tried to increase from that level. That recovery is called as deflation. When the deflation happens, again there is a start of recovery of inflation. So that recovery of inflation is called as reflation. Then what is stagflation? What is stagflation? What is a stagflation? Okay, we will see. A stagflation is basically a situation. It's not, you can say, a particular graph or particular thing. It's basically a situation. I will give you an explanation. Give me one example regarding this. What is stagflation? Stagflation, I will say some features of stagflation, okay? Some features. The features are high inflation, slow, that is decreasing economic growth, high unemployment rate. Unemployment rate. What are the features of stagflation? There is a high unemployment rate, high inflation, slow economic growth. This is called the stagflation situation. The best example is the best example for the stagflation is COVID-19. COVID-19 situation. I will explain this. See, we will go one by one. What is increasing in the inflation because of the supply chain disruptions, because of the closing down of the factories and the companies. There is a no production in the market, but the people are demanding. The demand in the market is high. but there is no production due to lockdowns. Because of that, there is increase in the prices of a product, so there is a high inflation. The COVID-19, I given a COVID-19 example, there is increase in the inflation. Because of the lockdown, the factories are closed down. Because of the factories are the closed down, there is an increase in the unemployment rate. Okay, because of the close down of the factories, because of there is unemployment, because of the lockdown, there is no production. If there is no value added in that particular year, if there is no gross value added, then automatically it suggests that there is a slow economic growth. So stagflation is basically a situation where high unemployment rate will be there, where high inflation will be there, but at the overall, the country's economic growth is very slow. And this is the stagflation situation. See, please try to have a thorough understanding of each and every concept. Please don't just buy the things, okay? Because if you buy the things, you will have a confusion between what is deflation and what is disinflation. And remember, one thing, remember, the people are, most of the students, aspirants, they try to, so what is the, then what is the difference between the disinflation and deflation? They will try to confuse between this. A disinflation is slow increasing in the prices of an economy, not the inflation. That's a consistent increasing in the prices of economy with a normal pace. The disinflation is slow increases in the prices of an economy, and the minimum point is zero. The disinflation is positive only, but the disinflation can go negative also, because a consistent decrease in the prices of a product. Okay, please have a thorough understanding of the concept. One or the other way, it will help you while solving the questions. Please focus on this. Okay, please note down all these topics: inflation, what is deflation, what is disinflation, what is reflation, what is stagflation. Have, please have a clarity on this, because these words are repeatedly mentioned in the economic survey. That means there are, there is chance to ask from the indirect way. There are three direct questions. There are three direct questions. There are multiple indirect questions from the economic survey, that may be from the basic concepts of the economy subject. Okay, because these words are repeatedly mentioned in the economic survey. Please have a thorough understanding of these concepts, because on the indirect, in an indirect way, from the multiple side, they can ask the questions with related to these inflation topics. Okay, and global uncertainty. Okay, as I recently discussed, globally, the 2024 is a year of is an election year basically. It's an election eventful year. As I said, the electoral activity on the political front, more than half of the global population are involved in the voting process. Because of that, most of, in many countries, parties have changed. Different parties have different ideologies. Because of that, there is a policy level changes at the global level, and it may positively affect the global economy, or because of those policies, it may affect the positively on the global economy. It may affect negatively also to the global economy, because the parties have changed, their ideologies are different, their policy making is different. How it affects a global economy, it is always uncertain. Okay, and again, recently, as I discussed, Russia Ukraine conflict, Israel Hamas conflict, Israel, that is Israel Palestine conflict, and there is a conflict between the Azerbaijan and Armenia over the Nagorno Karabakh region. Because of this, there is a supply chain disruptions. Because of that, there is a slowdown in the global economy. And see, please, as I said in the preface, they have mentioned that this year's economic survey is saying that we should focus on our domestic growth and deregulation. Now you, I think, understood that why the economic survey is in the starting page only. They have mentioned India should focus on the domestic growth and deregulation. This is the reason. Okay, there is, easily they can, you can get a mains question here. Okay, in the era of global uncertainty, what should India do? What should India care about the Indian economy? What are the guidelines you can suggest that Indian economy should have a resilience, should have a robust plan against the global level uncertainties? This is the main question. This is an important question. There is a more possible chances to ask this question. Okay. Okay. Next, if you see, because of the recent increasing in the use of the artificial intelligence tools, even at the every level, the use of the artificial intelligence is day by day increasing. Because of that, there is an increasing of cyber attacks. There is increasing in the data privacy issues. Data privacy issues. There is increasing in the cyber attacks. There is increasing in the malware attacks, phishing. Because of this, again, there is a problem, or there is a, we can say, fear was grown at the financial sector. Because of this, cyber attack is also one of the issue in the financial sector. We need to address this. Okay. Because day by day the artificial intelligence is increasing, and the inclusivity of the artificial intelligence is day by day increasing. We have to focus on the negative side effects of artificial intelligence, and one of that is cyber attacks. Okay. As I said, economic survey is saying that there is an uncertainty at the global level, and they are proving by giving a global index. The one index is World Trade Policy Uncertainty. The first one is Geopolitical Economic Policy Uncertainty Index. Okay. Geopolitical Economic Policy Uncertainty Index. The economic survey is saying that, which is, and it is a work of many researchers. Please remember this. There is no single there is no single organization, there is no single institution is working for this, and it is a index from the research of many researchers, and and economic survey is saying that it is increased in 2020, it is 121.7, and in 2024 133.6. Even if while writing the answers, while writing the essays, while writing the GS mains answers and the essays, you cannot just say that because of the global uncertainty. You have to mention these kind of indexes. It will give you a more power to your answers. Okay. Geopolitical economic policy uncertainty has increased from 121 to 133 in 2024, and it is a research work of many researchers. And every year, this index was given in the policy uncertain website. This index every year was presented in the policy uncertain website. You can see this website and you will get the information related to this. And economic survey again saying that, again it's proving that the global economy is highly uncertain. It's day by day going uncertain. And the uncertainty of the global level, it's day by day increasing, year on year increasing. There is a index called as World Trade Uncertainty Index. Please remember this because it is mentioned in the economic survey. World Trade Uncertainty Index, which is released by Economist Intelligence Unit. Please remember this. UPSC is also very much interested in asking the reports, and they mention this report and who released this report. And due to it is specifically mentioned in the economic survey, please try to focus on this. Okay. The World Trade Uncertainty Index is released by the Economist Intelligence Unit. That is, they are saying that again, it is increased from 8.5 in 2023 to 13 point. And these two indexes are proving that whatever the economic survey is saying, that these two indexes prove that day by day, the global economy or the global era is day by day becoming uncertain. So that the economic survey is saying that we should focus on our domestic economy, domestic growth, domestic growth, domestic savings, domestic investment, and citizens' health. They are focusing on. That means economic survey is suggesting to the government that we should more rely on our Indian resources. If there are no resources, then we have to build a multiple resources. Okay. Tomorrow there is a tension in the Middle East. If the blockage of the supply chain of crude oil then we should have multiple options. There is a Venezuela. World highest petroleum reserves are in Venezuela. We have if there is a future, if there is any problem with the Middle East, then we should have a multiple options to buy the crude oil from Venezuela, from Russia, from some African countries like Namibia, Nigeria, Niger. Okay, and these are the countries. We should have multiple options in case there is any supply chain disruptions in the future. And the economic survey is listing this. Okay. And economic survey is saying that compared to the European nations, the USA is doing better. The USA is doing better. The growth in the USA is expected to remain strong at 2.8%. See, I'm saying these developing countries have the growth rate normally greater than 6. USA, we are saying that even the 2%, 2.8% of growth rate for the USA is, we are saying a strong. That means for a developed countries, it is a very good mark. For developing countries, they have a normal growth greater than 6. For a developed countries, that means USA is growing. Why I am saying is because of this USA is having the 2.8% of strong growth. Again, there is a flyback of the foreign portfolio investment in India. No, people are invested. There are two concepts: foreign direct investment and foreign portfolio investment. Okay, foreign portfolio investment. The people are investing in shares, bonds, government securities, because because after the COVID-19 pandemic era, even though the USA is more uncertain because India is doing good at the India and China and some other countries are doing good, even though they are worst affected by the pandemic, but they are doing better than USA. But now USA has a strong growth of 2.8%. But if you compare the currencies of the dollar and rupees, the UPSC is more stable and more stable, and the world's people have a belief that they have a belief dollar is always a more safe investment currency than rupees because India is a developing country. There is no structured organization, financial systems if something happens in future because of this 2.8 growth, 2.8% growth, strong growth in the USA, there is a flyback of the foreign portfolio investment. Because of this, again, there is a reduction in the foreign exchange reserves. Okay. Again, because why I'm explaining is this, they will give one sentence here. Which of the following statements are correct regarding in the global economic context? They will give. Which of the following statements are correct regarding the global economic context? They will give one sentence that because of the strong economic growth in the USA, there is a decrease in the forex reserves in India. That is correct. Okay, they will give, if you thoroughly understand what is the meaning of this, that means if USA is in doing good, that means again the people try to invest in USA because the dollar is more stable, it is more trustable compared to the rupee, because India is a developing country, it has, and again India is suffering from the structural reforms or structural organizations to maintain a rupee, and rupee is also undergoing many fluctuations. Sometimes it will go around $65, sometimes around it will go 100 rupees per dollar. So because of this high uncertainty, the people have a more trust on the dollar. Because a strong growth in the USA, there is a flyback of the foreign portfolio investment. Okay, please, these numbers are not important, the concept behind the numbers are very important. Okay, they will try to give a wrong sentence, they will try, they will give, they will confuse you by changing the sentences, by changing the words. Please understand the concept behind this. Okay, what is the time? Okay, there is another index called as the Global Composite Purchasing Managers Index. What are these purchasing managers? if a company A, company B, a company on behalf of company, there are purchasing managers who purchase the inputs for the company. That is, it may be a raw material or anything. Who purchase, who look upon this company by purchasing the inputs. Similarly, for B company also, there are purchasing managers who provide inputs to the company. They purchase some raw materials for this company. These are called as purchasing managers. And based on the information collected from these purchasing managers, there is one index is prepared, that is the Global Composite Purchasing Managers Index. It is released by the S&P Global, Standard and Poor's Global. Okay. It is also saying that at the world level, please see this graph. At the world level, if you see Global Composite Index, the Global Composite Index, this is the Global Composite Index. They will give a sentence, which of the following statements are correct regarding in the global economic context. They will add this sentence. Okay. They say the Global Services Purchasing Managers Index is saying that the global, the service at the global level, the service sector is working better. See, the service sector is working better. This is the normal one. This is the average one. This is the average one. Okay. The global composite PMI is this global composite PMI. This is the average one. And at the global level, the service sector is doing better, while as the manufacturing sector at the global level, it is below the purchasing managers index. They will give a wrong sentence. In the global economic context, the manufacturing sector at the global level is performing better than the global manufacturing services sector. They will confuse you. They will add wrong sentences. And again, these numbers are not important. Please focus on the trend. Again, UPSC is very much interested in asking the trends.